Alrighty, let's have a look another, maybe a deeper wisdom look at relationships. So, while we know they can be an absolute flood zone of emotions and garbage and stuff we're throwing out, it does also say, for your own risk and high safety and all that garbage, water levels can rise quickly. Okay, let's have a closer look at that. Water levels, where's the water element? It's in the sacral, in the reproductive system. And you'll notice that when we have relationships, they can be flooded with absolute garbage from our past and our stored stories. Because 70% of our toxicity and all our gunk in the body is stored in the water element. So, if anyone who's retaining fluid or retaining water, well then that's because that environment is conducive to the lowest self. It's not conducive to the highest self, which of course means the top half of the body must be bigger and stronger and have more energy on it than wasted down below. So this is why we have cleansing, purifying herbal teas, concoctions, and then we can have a sit down and have a heart-to-heart chat rather than throwing our demons at each other. Well, that happens enough. We don't need to do that anymore. While there are many people in 40 to 60-year-old bodies who are still emotionally under the age of 10. It's because their bodily condition is poor. They're not keeping their gut health in quality condition. So you'll notice that, when you're doing your exercise, you go to the gym or your yoga practice, you're feeling good. You generally have flowing relationships, or the relationship has a flow to it, because we've got a good flow through the gut to the reproductive system and the water element. Seems to make sense, doesn't it? It just all fits in. But when we're blocked, or it's time of the month, or we're just feeling insecure, whatever it is, well, it's about time we actually fix that up, right? Take the action, get it done. We know what we have to do, just make it happen. Let's supercharge the higher self rather than sit in our garbage and in our lowest self. Because not much comes from the lower self that's good. Unless we fixed it up, that is. Of course. Because always, let's have a look at the word. Could have started with that. But let's have a look at it from backwards. There's always ships. There's always two to tango. And that means that externally blaming, that's coming from the lowest possible self. That's coming from insecurity, which means we've got criticism, a lot of garbage in our gunk and our colon and our coccyx gland that is causing us to feel insecure. And is being released up the entire spine and chakra or endocrine system to show us that, hey, we're not as great and secure as we thought we were. Because relationships are good for highlighting that, because while we have elation, and usually mutual elation, because, hey, we're making off love, let's get more of that action happening, and that would be living love, so you actually have to make it, rather than talk about it, or just have it as a fluffy concept. Making love. Well, hang on, all of a sudden things go great when you're connecting and you're making of love. But also, things seem to flow, but that does bring our stuff up from the water element in the reproductive system. So, when the stuff does come up, feel free to take full responsibility and not externally blame the other person, because it's mutual. We're all good at that, because it's hard to face ourselves sometimes at our nasty stuff that does come up. But then we don't have the elation. But when we're taking care of ourselves and our mutual selves, and that what I call that relationship entity, so that combination of that energies between the two of you, then we get moments. You know those ones. Did this because my mum said that, or my dad said this, or I'm angry at my past stories. And this is basically how the human entity works. Until a person makes the choices necessary and practices and lives love to get to at least the third eye, but ideally enlightenment at Makara point, and open up the pineal and pituitary glands, their idea of love is still an egoic construct. So basically, their mind has created this idea of love based on the stored toxins in the gut, and below that, and they haven't got enough homeostasis or spiritual power or high enough vibration to be able to actually realize what love is and be purely present in the moment with their partner and their relationships, because that's when the real elation comes. It's magic. It's kind of amazing. And then when you're operating at a higher vibration, it's very difficult to, and it's just generally you don't go back to unconscious people who are still, poisoning and toxifying themselves on a daily basis, haven't figured out how to eat and gut health. So, because they're just draining. They don't realize it most of the time because they've got so much gunk down the bottom half of the body that they're operating at a low vibration. Simple. Look at the body and the chakra system as a vibrational entity, and if most of the energy down below is being used there, well, then that person's subconscious mind is focused on their lowest self and their demons and their dark devil shit, which we don't want to do. We much prefer to come from the higher self, and that gaps in between in the nervous and chakra system, which are very subtle in the body, which very few people are even able to identify, let alone fix, is an egoic construct because it's disconnected between the gut and the mind, let alone the lower self connects back to the brain. So their entire idea of love and relationships are an egoic construct from stored toxicities and stored toxins from the past, which generally means mum and dad stories, childhood stored garbage, getting in the way like a filter. We can't actually see our partner for who they are. We've got too much 7 filters really, so it's kind of multi-jumbled, and we're wondering why we're acting and behaving in certain ways that are, lower self dominated and harmful, and saying silly things, and they're wondering why the person thinks they're crazy. Well, first of all, using the word crazy isn't the best idea. I didn't really like saying it. It seems popular. Wonder what critter or what imbalance or what virus is causing that one, because it seems a popular one. Feel free to drop that one from the repertoire. It's less than helpful. I hope that explained a few things, because when we get onto the more subtleties of the body, then the elation of the love, because love's a 500 vibration on the scale of consciousness, most people operating below 200, and each point is vibrational to the power of 10. So it's a long way. You basically have to get the heart open, clean the blood, fix digestion, get alignment right, have a subtle practices for the chakras and the nervous system. And then coming from the higher self, we have that higher wisdom. So we're always making good decisions and saying much more positive things to ourselves and therefore our partners. Because most people are they can't see their own nose because they're coming from the lower chakras. They can't see their own nose. They're looking at it from 2 eyes that are curved with lots of imbalances from iridology showing the rest of the soul, rather than from oneness looking at their own nose and their own sense of self. So therefore, if we can't see ourselves, how do we expect to see a partner who can't see themselves? There's just garbage in the way, and it creates a flood zone of emotion and nastiness. So how about we do our own work, and then when stuff does come up, have some polarity time perhaps, just like, tell the person, hang on, I need to have a break, I need to find myself again and come back to me, and go and do the yoga, go and do the saunas, the massages. Ooh, that's a good idea. And get these things done to love ourselves, so then we can bring more love to the table and offer it in service to our partner.